Hi, my name's Sandy, and I've come to the site to do this video about mind possession. The main reason I wanted to do this video was to possibly make a contribution to help those who suffer with trouble in their minds, mental illness, and for those also who don't suffer with it, to help understand what's going on. Currently in the world there is really no way to understand mental illness, and there's not, I believe, significant help out there from the health industry. Right now, when I was having trouble, I started having trouble with my mind when I was about 33 years old. It happened pretty rapidly. Before I go into that, I just wanted to say, at the time I did not want to go to any hospitals and doctors and tell them what was going on, because I didn't first of all want my children taken away. I didn't want to lose my children. But most importantly, I didn't want to be labeled. I didn't want to label that I was mentally ill and that I had, say, schizophrenia. And I didn't want to be drugged. The medical industry will tell you there's no cure for mental illness, that you carry it with you for the rest of your life. And they believe that. I don't believe that's true at all. These are mind possessions. It can be stopped completely by stopping the mind. You have the ability to do that in every moment. Basically, that is what I did, and how I cured myself was by stopping my mind. I later, many years later, found a site called Destiny with an I to help me understand what the fuck happened to me. So I wanted to talk about mind obsession. And when we go into the mind, when you listen to your mind and follow your mind, the problem is it can get very extreme. Extreme in its messages to you, thoughts that are coming to you. Extreme, it can get rapid. It will tell you, it will go where you lead it. So if you're thinking, oh, who's speaking to me? It's going to give you a name. I'm so-and-so. You're going to believe you got so-and-so in your head. So you have to be very, very careful if you are experiencing problems, or if you currently take medication for your illness. I'm not suggesting that you don't. In fact, I believe that you should. However, this could be a form to start to understand what's happening to you and take your own power back. A start to stand up on your own, who you are in this moment, and start. So I was possessed by my mind, mostly intensely, for a year or two, and then I started letting it go. And then at the end I thought it was just like a higher power kind of thing, and was not too obsessed with it, although I still listened to it because I thought it was some kind of higher power. But I was able to let that go completely when I found Destiny about a year and a half ago. So when I was 33, I was mentally stable. I wouldn't be considered, say, strong person. I was married, and I had two very small kids. My children were only 1 and 3 years old. My husband decided that he wanted to leave the marriage. I wasn't prepared for that. We had no money. So it devastated me, depressed me. I felt helpless, hopeless. And I did something I hadn't done in years, since I was a child, and that was I prayed. So what I did is I went into my mind, and I opened myself up to whatever's out there. Come in here. And I was so desperate. I just, God, please help me, right? We've all had that experience when you don't believe, and I didn't really believe. However, I was very desperate, and I received music in my head. I received melodies and words, like lyrics, and I thought, oh, and they were about my situation. So say about my husband, get my husband back, and how much I loved him. It made me feel very special. Fed my ego perfectly. It made me feel very special. The mind will always do that. The mind is interested in survival. It is totally self-interested. It's interested in your survival. Mine. No, who cares about the rest of the world really? It's me. I need to survive. The mind's going to try and save you only. Very self-interested. Will feed on your ego. Tell you you got what it takes. You're special. So I thought, oh, I'm special. I'm pretty enough, and I have some musical ability, and I can write these songs. And so that's what I did. And I fed into it even more by using a tape recorder. And so I woke up in the morning, and I would tape music and lyrics, and then listen to this. I had some musical ability, and so I would transpose it into chords and on the piano and guitar. And so this is one way and so there's the voices in the head. I didn't know what they were, so I just went kind of spiritual with it. Spiritual. It's God. And I'm special, and I'm receiving this information. I'm to take this music to get my man, which gets money for survival. Music will also make money to help me survive and get things, lots of things for me and my kids, and to make me more beautiful, whatever. And I will be loved and adored by people because I'll have this music. And so I would write music every day. Now, if something happened, say it's very difficult, it costs a lot of money to record songs, and even to promote songs. I didn't have enough ability and, say, God-given talent to do this on my own, so say I got the money together and got some songs recorded and went to the trouble to get them out to different record companies, and I got rejection letters back. Then the mind, and I'm not saying I don't like music. I love music. I went out and sang. I met lots of fun people. It was fun. I still do it. It's very fun. I enjoy music. I'm not saying anything against writing and singing and playing. It's joyful. So say that failed, that project failed. Then I'd think, oh, I have to get money somehow. I have to do something. Then there'd be another suggestion from the mind, but it was always grand, extreme. Here's a business idea. Look into this. Here's an idea. It was extreme, and there was like this rush because I needed money so badly, and I was always trying to. I'd listen to the mind, and so I'd try this other extreme thing, and maybe it didn't work. And then I met a musician who didn't even think I was so pretty, and so then I started writing all these songs about him, given to me by my mind. In the morning, like I said, I'd just wake up, get that tape recorder, start singing. And these songs were going to make him fall in love with me. And I needed this because the sex was so exciting. He made me feel good. I didn't feel well enough, but good enough on my own. And a partner to help paying with bills, and we would succeed in music together, so there's money there. And it was always a desperate kind of attempt, and it was so dramatic, very dramatic. The message is very dramatic. Sometimes it came to a point where I let so much information in, I couldn't really think straight during the day, so it was coming at me during the day as well as at night. I couldn't really think straight. I wasn't sleeping well. So the mind gave me a great idea to use alcohol. No one would know. I wasn't exposing myself. It's legal. And it would be the medication I needed. So then I'd be given thoughts. If I was really down and depressed, to go to the liquor store, and so I follow it because I think it's a higher power, and even though it seems kind of crazy and ridiculous, it does help. It helps me for today. So I'd keep getting music, thoughts about men. I would obsess and be possessed by becoming a successful singer-songwriter, getting my man, getting money through music and men. I'd get that money. I needed lots of money. Again, extreme, lots of money, fame, fortune, extreme thinking. And because I thought that it was from like a higher power, because I couldn't explain it. I didn't understand what was going on in my mind. I listened because I thought this thing knew better than I. The faith, right? You don't need proof. You need faith. Stand up. Write an inspirational song. Help others as well. But really, it was to get money for me. Mostly money for me first. So again, even the help others was based in self-interest. So it was write an inspirational song to show everyone how great you are. Right? It's really based in self-interest. So there was the obsession, survival, getting money with men and sex, with using alcohol. It was okay. You don't have to tell anyone. What I did, I knew I was sick mentally, and I knew I was starting to become an alcoholic. Actually, it just jumped right in there. When I went across that line, I knew I crossed the line. This all started happening when I was 33. When I was about, not long after, I knew these thoughts were coming at me at night and then during the day. It was no good. I was in my mind all the time, and I wasn't out here. I wasn't seeing what was going on in my physical reality, I was in the mind too much. I knew I was sick. So what I did was I used my common sense. And I thought I have to stop these thoughts. So I stopped the thoughts, literally, by meditating. So I would lie on my bed, want the kids in front of a movie or something in the afternoon, lie on my bed. I would literally stop my thoughts through breathing. And I noticed, I thought about stopping the thoughts because I noticed that when I did focus on someone, the voices stopped in my head. I was outside. So I thought, okay, I'm going to stop the thoughts more. So I meditated, lied in my bed, closed my eyes, and just focused on my breath. And slowly, over a number of months, I got better. And then with the use of alcohol, which is the drug, helped suppress, stop the thoughts as well during the day. Slowly, I became normal, like everyone else. Wasn't listening to thoughts in my head during the day. But I didn't know how to explain what happened, so I still thought it was like a higher power. So I still would write music by listening to the stuff that I woke up with in the morning, thoughts and music and lyrics in my head. So I'd still write music. But I stopped listening. I had my own mind during the day, but I was drinking too much. So eventually, I drank too much for 10 years. I have not drank for 7 years now, and I belong to AA, and that's all good. But it was still unexplainable. And a number of things occurred that were unexplainable. So if you are someone who hears voices, and perhaps I never wanted to know who was speaking to me. I would get messages saying, you don't know who's speaking to you. Don't you want to know who I am? And I think, no, I don't want to know who you are. Nope. I know some people, though, do. And they have a name for the voice in their head, and it's so-and-so, and so-and-so helps them. Whether it's God or a spirit of whomever. A guide. A lot of people say they have a guide. But me, I didn't want to name this thing. Knowledge and information I was receiving. I didn't want to intimize it, make it intimate that way at all. I wasn't interested in that. So didn't pursue these messages.